Ladies and gentlemen, we live in extraordinary times that demand more than strength, more than ambition. They demand vision, resilience, and a heart capable of seeing beyond what is to what can be. This is the power we're talking about today. Not the power to control, but the power to create. Not the power to dominate, but to inspire. History has long celebrated the feats of legendary men. And rightly so. Their courage, their innovation, and their leadership have shaped the world we know. But here's the thing, for far too long, we've seen power through only half the lens. Women's minds, now there's a force. Imagine this: for centuries, half the human race was silenced, undervalued, and underestimated. And yet, even in the shadows, women have moved mountains. They've shaped families, led revolutions, and innovated in ways history sometimes forgets to mention. Why? Because the power of the mind, the power of creativity and empathy doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers, and in that whisper, it changes everything. Now, women's mind's a hidden force. Still, throughout history, the immense power of women's minds has often been underestimated, overlooked, or outright ignored. Yet this hidden force has been a catalyst for change, innovation, and resilience in ways both seen and unseen. Women have shaped societies, challenged norms, and redefined boundaries, often without receiving the recognition they deserve. Consider the quiet strength of women who, in the face of adversity, have carved paths where none existed. Their creativity, intuition, and intellect have built bridges across divides, sparked revolutions, and nurtured generations. This force is not confined to any one realm. It manifests in science, art, politics, technology, and even in the intimate spaces of family and community. It is a force that defies limitations and redefines possibility. History offers glimpses of this brilliance. Think of women like Ada Lovelace, who envisioned the first algorithms long before the world grasped the concept of computers, or Rosa Parks, whose courageous act of defiance became a cornerstone of the civil rights movement. But let us not only celebrate the names we know, let us honor the countless women whose contributions have gone unrecorded. The teachers, caregivers, activists, and innovators who, often in silence, have reshaped the world. Women's minds are a repository of empathy and strength. They have the unique ability to weave logic with compassion, to approach challenges with both strategy and heart. This duality has proven invaluable, especially in moments of crisis, where vision and resilience must work hand in hand. It is this blend that has driven progress in areas as diverse as education reform, healthcare advancements, and environmental advocacy. Even now, the world is beginning to awaken to the untapped potential of this hidden force. As barriers continue to fall and opportunities expand, women are stepping into roles that demand their brilliance. They are breaking stereotypes, leading industries, and crafting narratives that empower others. This is not just a victory for women, it is a triumph for humanity, as a more balanced, inclusive approach benefits everyone. But the true power of women's minds lies not only in their accomplishments, but in their ability to inspire and uplift others. They remind us that intelligence and creativity are not bound by gender, and that true progress arises when all voices are heard and all talents are valued. In every woman is a story waiting to be told, a dream waiting to be realized, and a strength waiting to be unleashed. This hidden force is not just a gift to women, it is a gift to the world. It challenges us to look deeper, to value diversity, and to recognize that the potential of humanity is limitless when everyone has the chance to rise. In the legacy of legendary men. The legacy of legendary men is a tapestry woven with threads of courage, wisdom, and unwavering determination. Their stories echo through the corridors of time, not as mere tales of triumph, but as powerful reminders of what is possible when individuals dare to dream beyond the ordinary. These men were not just shaped by their circumstances, they shaped their circumstances, redefining what humanity could achieve. Their legacy is not confined to the monuments built in their honor or the words inscribed in history books. It lives in the ideas they birthed, the barriers they broke, and the lives they transformed. They stood tall in the face of adversity, often alone, withstanding the storms of doubt and opposition to pursue what they believed to be just true and necessary. Their resolve reminds us that greatness is not born, it is forged in the fires of resilience and purpose. These men were not perfect. They stumbled, they struggled, and they faced moments of uncertainty. But their imperfections made their stories relatable, their struggles universal. They taught us that the path to greatness is not a straight road, but a winding journey filled with challenges that test our spirit and fortify our character. Their triumphs teach us that the measure of a man lies not in his perfection, but in his persistence. Every great endeavor they undertook began with a single thought, a vision of what could be rather than what was. That vision ignited movements, sparked revolutions, and inspired generations to reach for higher ground. Their legacy is a call to action for all of us, urging us to channel our passions, embrace our potential, and strive to leave a world better than we found it. They remind us that the human spirit is boundless, capable of scaling the highest peaks and conquering the deepest fears. Their courage inspires us to rise above the mundane, to challenge the status quo, and to believe in the power of one individual to affect change. They showed us that even in the face of insurmountable odds, the unyielding will to make a difference can carve pathways where none existed. The legacy of legendary men is not a relic of the past, but a living force that pulses through each of us. It challenges us to step into the arena, to dare greatly, and to write our own chapter in the story of humanity. Their deeds may have shaped the world, but their true legacy lies in the fire they have lit in our hearts, urging us to rise, to strive, and to be legendary in our own right. Reframing power. Power is often misunderstood. It's seen as dominance, control, or the ability to impose one's will over others. But what if we dared to look at power differently? What if power wasn't about taking, but about giving? Not about commanding, but about inspiring. Not about standing above, but standing with. True power is not a force to subdue, but an energy to uplift. It lies in the ability to influence hearts, change minds, and ignite passion. It thrives not in fear, but in trust, not in isolation, but in connection. Power isn't diminished when it's shared, it multiplies. It creates ripples, transforms relationships, and builds bridges where there were walls. Imagine a world where power is measured not by what we can accumulate, but by what we can contribute. Where leadership is about creating space for others to rise. Where strength is reflected not in the capacity to dominate, but in the courage to be vulnerable. Reframing power requires courage because it challenges deeply ingrained narratives. It means rejecting the notion that to win, someone else must lose. It's the audacity to believe that collaboration is stronger than competition, that compassion is a greater force than control. This new lens on power demands empathy and humility. It calls on us to listen more deeply, to understand before we act, and to lead with purpose rather than pride. It's about recognizing that power doesn't flow from titles, wealth, or brute strength, but from the integrity of our actions, the authenticity of our intentions, and the depth of our impact on others. When we reframe power, we unleash its most transformative potential. We see power not as a weapon to wield, but as a tool to build. It becomes a source of hope, a beacon of possibility, and a catalyst for change. It stops being something we hoard and becomes something we offer. Power, reimagined, is the ability to see beyond ourselves, to act with a vision that includes others, and to create a legacy of generosity and growth. It is the realization that our greatest strength lies not in our ability to control others, but in our capacity to empower them. So let us redefine what it means to be powerful. Let us step into a version of power that doesn't divide but unites, that doesn't oppress but uplifts. Let us embrace a power that transforms the world, one connection, one act of kindness, one shared dream at a time. Empathy as a superpower. Empathy is often seen as a soft skill, a quiet trait, an unassuming presence in a world that seems to glorify loudness and power. But But what if we began to see empathy for what it truly is? A superpower. Be a force capable of transforming not just individual lives, but entire communities, societies, and even the world. Think about what empathy really is. It's the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. It's more than sympathy. It's stepping into someone else's shoes, seeing the world through their eyes, feeling their joys and wrestling with their struggles. It's not passive, it's active, courageous, and profoundly human. And like any superpower, empathy can unlock doors that would otherwise remain closed. Imagine a world where empathy leads, leaders who listen not to reply, but to understand. Politicians who feel the weight of every decision, not as numbers on a chart, but as lives being shaped by policies. Neighbors who see one another, not as strangers, but as allies, united by shared hopes and challenges. Empathy doesn't just dissolve barriers, it replaces them with bridges. In our fast-paced, tech-driven lives, it's easy to dismiss empathy as impractical or even inconvenient. But when we pause and truly connect, we tap into something extraordinary. Empathy is what makes us innovators, not just in creating new technologies, but in solving problems that matter. It allows us to ask better questions like, what does the world need, or how can I make life better for someone else? Empathy isn't about weakness, it's about strength wrapped in kindness, courage disguised as care. I think of the people who have changed the world, visionaries, healers, advocates. What they all share is an unwavering belief in the power of connection. Empathy is what made Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream more than words. It was a promise to see others as equals deserving of justice. It's what drove Malala Yousafzai to risk her life for the right of every child to be educated. Their empathy didn't limit them, it unleashed them. And it can unleash you too. Empathy sharpens your instincts, enriches your relationships, and deepens your purpose. It helps you to see opportunities where others see obstacles, and to find solutions that resonate beyond yourself. It transforms ordinary actions into extraordinary impacts. Listening to a friend becomes an act of healing. Standing up for someone becomes a stand for humanity. Empathy is a superpower because it brings out the best in us. It amplifies our ability to connect, to create, and to care. It's not just about understanding others, it's about discovering what we're truly capable of when we open our hearts. What the world needs now more than ever are superheroes who wear their compassion as boldly as their convictions. And the best part, that superhero can be you. Stories of resilience. Stories of resilience are the threads that weave the fabric of human triumph. They are the tales that remind us of the extraordinary strength that lies within each of us, waiting to be summoned in the face of adversity. These stories, often born from the most challenging moments of life, become powerful beacons of hope, illuminating paths through darkness and inspiring others to persevere. Resilience is not about avoiding hardship, it is about confronting it, weathering the storm, and emerging stronger. Consider the person who loses everything in a natural disaster yet finds the courage to rebuild not only their home but also their sense of purpose. Or the individual who, despite being told no time and time again, refuses to abandon their dreams, instead using each rejection as fuel to move forward. These are not just stories of survival, they are testaments to the unyielding spirit of humanity. When we hear about those who have faced illness, loss, or failure and somehow managed to rise again, we see more than just the outcome, we witness the process. We see people who have embraced their vulnerability, acknowledged their pain, and chosen to persist. Resilience is not about being unbreakable, it's about knowing that even when broken, we have the ability to piece ourselves back together, often creating something even more beautiful than before. Every act of resilience creates a ripple effect, inspiring others to believe in their own strength. Think of the parent who, despite struggling to make ends meet, finds ways to provide joy and stability for their children. Or the athlete who overcomes a debilitating injury, proving that determination can defy even the harshest odds. These stories are reminders that resilience is not a rare trait, it is a universal capability, a gift we all possess and can nurture. Resilience also teaches us that setbacks are not the end of the road, but opportunities for transformation. Each challenge we face reshapes us, often revealing strengths we didn't know we had. The process of enduring hardship and finding our way through it fosters growth, empathy, and a deeper appreciation for life's blessings. Resilient people don't just survive, they thrive. And their stories show us that it is possible to turn even the most difficult chapters of life into narratives of triumph. When we listen to stories of resilience, we don't just hear about struggle, we learn about courage, adaptability, and hope. These stories serve as a reminder that life's most valuable lessons often come from its most trying times. They encourage us to look inward, to recognize our own capacity for resilience, and to understand that no matter how heavy the burden, we can find a way to carry it and move forward. So here we are, standing at the crossroads of possibility. The question isn't about whether women or men hold more power, it's about how we harness the unique brilliance of each to build something extraordinary. The power of a woman's mind isn't a rival to a legendary man's legacy, it's the missing piece that elevates it. Together, they are unstoppable. Together, they create solutions where others see problems. Together, they light a fire that transforms the world. So I leave you with this: the future isn't about division. It's about unity. It's about recognizing that our greatest strength lies in collaboration, in embracing the power of diverse minds and energies. The legacy we leave tomorrow will be shaped by the choices we make today. Choose to lift each other up. Choose to see power not in competition, but in connection. Choose to honor the power of women's minds and the greatness of men's hearts. And together, let's build a world worthy of both. Thank you.